Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here with the Monday Night Raw full show preview for September 30th, 2019. This, honestly, is going to be a very special edition of Monday Night Raw, honestly, in my opinion. I guess the USA deal for them, getting Monday Night Raw for the next few years kicked off last week, with last week being the Monday Night Raw season premiere. This Friday, SmackDown moves to Fox, no longer going to be on Tuesday nights on the USA Network. And this show, to me, honestly, is a real big finger poke. Like, everybody's just pointing like, hey, we got some stuff going down, but most of the big stuff is going to be on SmackDown, on Fox. You're going to want to watch this on Friday. USA is a company that is owned by NBC. Fox is a company that is on its own. Fox and NBC don't really play well together. They are part of the NFL contract deal, but them being involved in wrestling reminds me a lot of back in the day when Monday Night Raw used to be on USA and SmackDown used to be on UPN. Basically, they made it where Monday Night Raw could show a small commercial for SmackDown, basically saying this is what's going on SmackDown, but they were not allowed to say UPN, ever. Never were allowed to say SmackDown was on a different network. If you wanted to find it, they had to say, check your local TV listings, or something like that. So I don't really know what I guess you can say, how they're going to get around this, but basically I think once this TV deal really kicks off, I think that once we really get, the brand split and the draft underway after next week, I'm thinking Monday Night Raw is going to be its own show. SmackDown is going to be its own show. They're basically not going to talk about each other. The guys aren't going to be jumping back and forth, much like with the, what the heck did they call that? Like, Vince McMahon just came up with some, leapfrog rule where basically, only 3 guys can be invited to go from one show to the other, and then it just basically meant the whole roster was there within a month. Anybody they wanted, just for no reason at all, just go on over there. It doesn't matter. But to me, honestly, this edition of Monday Night Raw is very important for the one reason that this quite possibly could be the last time Monday Night Raw is referred to as the A show. Definitely Fox paid a lot of money for WWE to bring SmackDown to Friday. I'm kind of surprised. Friday has always been looked at as sort of like the death slot in wrestling. When TNA moved to Friday, it was definitely not a good deal. When SmackDown moved to Friday, it was not looked at as a good thing. When it was originally moved off of I think UPN moved it there at one point, and that was kind of like, man, they might get canceled because of the fact that they're not pulling their weight and they're not bringing in the ratings. So, this is a big deal. All hands on deck. But Monday Night Raw, to me, ever since I think 1993 when it first debuted, it was always looked at as the flagship show for WWE. I can remember the first time Hulk Hogan was on there. I can remember a lot of the very early Monday Night Raw main events were honestly very special. The big, the time like the Quebecers beat the Steiners using the Canadian rules, where the tag titles changed on disqualification. That took place on Monday Night Raw. Basically my whole life, everything has happened on Monday Night Raw, and basically, every couple of years you read the rumors from Dave Meltzer and other people saying that basically Vince cares about SmackDown. He wants to get this under wraps, and basically they try their best to beef up the roster and help them out, but each and every year there's a draft. You can definitely see who the A show and the B show is. I mean, look at the last draft they did. Not you need those superstar shakeups or anything like that, but the actual draft they had with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon and Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, they gave, for every 2 picks SmackDown got. Monday Night Raw got 3 picks. Basically, that is a way to really beef up the roster, and they used the fact that SmackDown was only 2 hours, while Monday Night Raw was 3, so they needed more people to fill up the entire show. But definitely, you can see like there's a weighted thing. Like for every 6 picks, SmackDown only got 4. So like your top 10, you're only getting 40% of the best talent, while Monday Night Raw is stacking themselves with 6 of the best guys that are on there. And even though every draft they do, they don't really always put the best guys in the number 1, number 2, number 3 slots, because they try to make the Intercontinental title look big, so they all pick the Intercontinental champion before they pick Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and stupid things like that. But Monday Night Raw has always been really special to me. You look at this show, there's a few different ways that this could go. We definitely know that the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, is going to be involved somehow during this show. I'm thinking that it might happen during the Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio match. Rey Mysterio, of course, coming back from his near retirement that his son was able to talk him out of. He won was it a 4-way or a 5-way last week? He won a match last week to make him the number 1 contender, to get him a title shot, to make Dominic proud of him. And, Seth Rollins has the match at Hell in a Cell. This is kind of a dream match, babyface versus babyface. We could just see Rollins go out there and have a really good match against Rey. And just, he beats him. There's no way Rey is winning this match. But, you definitely could also see Bray Wyatt coming down and using this as a moment to have a helpless Seth Rollins and beat him up to weaken him. My hope was that during the Miz TV, we would see Bray Wyatt come out and attack Ric Flair and Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I think with this matchup happening of Rollins versus Mysterio, I don't think that's going to go down, but it would be really fun. Definitely the Miz TV with Ric Flair and Hollywood Hulk Hogan is just like earlier, it's them pointing like, hey, we're going to be on Fox on Friday, and we're going to bring a lot more of our friends. We've got Stone Cold Steve Austin, hopefully The Rock. The Undertaker is going to be there. Tons of appearances on SmackDown going down. So that's basically what Rick and Hulk are going to be doing. Just a major shill. I can't even think of who The Miz is currently involved with in a feud with. So I don't really see how that can be anything other than that. Brock Lesnar is going to be on Monday Night Raw. That is him hyping up the fact that he's actually going to have a televised wrestling match going up against Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. First time Brock has wrestled since probably 2003, maybe 2004 on Monday Night Raw, if I have my timeline right. So, Brock actually wrestling for free is honestly a really big deal. But then again, most wrestling fans have the network. They've seen every Brock match he's ever had. There's no really pay-per-view buys that are out there anymore. I'd be really surprised if Brock didn't beat Kofi. I don't really know where you go from there if Brock doesn't beat him. Kofi Kingston would probably get the biggest win of his career and then just be still stuck in a feud with Randy Orton. So it doesn't make sense Brock to get the win there. We got a tag team champion. No, it's not a tag team champion match. It's just Alexa Bliss taking on Sasha Banks. Who cares? And then Cedric Alexander is going to be taking on AJ Styles for the United States title. AJ beat Cedric pretty much hands down last time they had a match. I wouldn't be surprised if it just goes the same exact way. So, I'm going to shed a little bit of a tear when Monday Night Raw ends and it's no longer the show that, WWE stacks and says this is the A show. It's just going to be the 3-hour commercial for SmackDown and pay-per-views. Of course, next week we've got the draft. We're really going to be able to see if that's, what they're doing. So we'll see what goes down. It's going to be hard for me to believe that Vince gives up on Raw, but it looks like that's the direction they're going.